What is up, dude? I am very sick, bro. I'm very sick. Very is a strong word, but I am sick. And I said I wouldn't make a video if I didn't take a trade, and we took two trades today, and I will go over them. And I have the executions, I have the videos that I'll go over towards the end. But yeah, so overall today was pretty cool. Pretty fun day. But yeah, dude, being sick really is annoying, man. Especially because it doesn't really do anything for me anymore, right? When I used to get sick, you used to get the skip school and maybe not go to work or whatever. Um, and I could have just not gone to work today and not turned on the charts or made this YouTube video. But it's a little bit different when you're kind of your own employer in terms of learning a skill. So, gone are the days that you get to just, yo, I'm sick, man, I'm not coming in today. Or, Mom, I'm not going to school today, I'm sick. So yeah, that's the worst part about getting older, I guess, is that being sick no longer means it just means you have a sore throat and it sucks to sleep and the food doesn't taste good. So there's that. But anyways, today was pretty cool, man. I really enjoyed today. We ended up taking two winners, right? And I really think we have a lot of room to the downside. I'm going to be paper trading the rest of the day. I locked both my accounts. And this -2 to 2.5 lines up perfectly with the daily fair value gap, which my draw on liquidity and wow, we're accelerating to that level, right? And I'll go over kind of where I frame my trades. I frame my trades towards this level, and honestly, I'm glad I locked my accounts because I'm really kind of frustrated to see the price just fall like this without me, because I was apologize. I'm trying to align myself with this today. So we'll kind of go over what I was looking at going into the day. Here we have the 15-minute chart. We were just kind of slowly climbing up overnight. We had all this low resistance liquidity built up. We swept out this high here. And this looks very clean to me in terms of just lower time frame or higher time frame draw on liquidity. We have these two lows and this low here. And this low here and this low here. So we had Asia low right here. London low somewhere in here. But with these things being here, and we also had two new day opening gaps and the weekly opening gap below us, we had a lot of confluences that were telling us lower, right? And ES today, let me pull up ES. ES, for context, has swept out all the hourly highs here, or like 4-hour highs more realistically. We've swept out the high here, so we do technically have an SP. It was kind of like buy a tick, so it's not too crazy, but that was something to keep in note, right? And ES also gave us a little framework for the bias today. We had the data news low right here, which made me a little bit bearish, and off market open, this is 9:45. If we look here, we had the data news candle at 8:45. 9:45 was right here, right? We had an SMT, a bearish SMT with NQ and ES, right? We took out high of day with an SMT and rejected, and this was actually a nice area where you could take in shorts. And somewhere in here, the really maximize on the move, and if you were in runners, wow. But that was where the bias kind of went from ES, within ES, I mean. Anyways, I drew the standard deviation from this high to this swing low in the data because this was the manipulation leg on the 15-minute. We had down close candles, the low all the way to the high. That's manipulation leg. -1 lines up perfectly with this new day opening gap, or not perfectly. And then the 2 to 2.5 lines up very nicely with this liquidity down here. So this is my main target for the day, would be this area down here. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that, right? Where are we? So market opens, and I was being really patient. I wanted to take a setup to the data low, but we come down, we sweep this low, we come back up, right? We don't make another SMT here. I just have it marked here because it looks better than marking it from here. But we don't make another SMT. There's no fair value gap we're bouncing out of, even on the lowest time frames. Actually, no, we don't, because we're not delivering from this or a 30-second. So I guess technically we're holding a tiny imbalance. Anyways, we don't get an imbalance. We kind of have one singular fair value gap here. I didn't love this, even though I expected it to work. I didn't love this because of this price action. Just I wasn't a fan of. I didn't have a clear understanding, and I passed up on this trade. It ended up working perfectly. He could have held to these equal lows here. I actually had these marked out. If I did get a setup, we had perfect equal lows right here. That could have been a target below the data lows, which would have hit. So yeah, that was basically that was the idea behind that today, and that's why I gave up on that trade and didn't take it. But then when we get the displacement lower, we end up making this 5-minute imbalance right here, from this wick low obviously to this candle's high. So we had this 5-minute, and I was just patient, waiting for price to do something in there, and then we end up getting a nice run above the 5-minute, and we press into this 1-minute imbalance here that wasn't filled, this little gap. We end up respecting that gap well, and we inverse here. So I jump in with 5 micros right here, and put my stop around here, and kind of was anticipating, because this 15-minute fair value gap opened right as I got in here. So I went in with a little bit lower size also too, just because I could risk a lot more. This was a very nice stop loss. I could have risked about 7-8 contracts micros. The reason I went with 5 is just because I was honestly kind of anticipating to get stopped out and then get a re-entry, or I was going to be fine with taking another entry if we came back up to this 15-minute, because my bias was to go lower to London low or Asia low, which was down here, right? So if my bias was to go lower, then I was 100% fine with taking a trade here, taking a small loss, and then trying again and taking 2 losses and being down around what I want to risk on 1 trade, because then I would know my bias was just wrong and I would learn from it and move on. But I was very confident this was the draw, so that's what I wanted to see. And then I was going to have extended take profits way lower to the different levels, right? This would be kind of where my full take profit would be looking for, but I would definitely scale some when we're 100 points in profit. But anyways, so let's get my take profit back up. So what happened on this trade was we got in on the inverse, right? We kind of put in a little bit of chop. We did actually close above the inverse. I did not get out because why did I not get out? We were holding this 15-second imbalance, and I was like, okay, if this thing breaks, then I'll close it, but I don't really want to just get out here. I've seen that happen before. I was confident in the draw being lower. I like the 5-minute. Honestly, if I had the confidence, I would have just shorted in this gap in the 5-minute, but I waited for my entry model, and we run through this low. I didn't instantly jump to break even, but when we got this close to take profit, I didn't want to lose on this trade, which is fine in my opinion. Obviously, we'll go over the hindsight, but I didn't want to lose on this trade, so I had taken 1 contract off here and then put my stop loss to here above this 1-minute fair value gap, and obviously we got really close and reversed, right? And this is painful live time because it was literally we were literally like 3.75 points away, and live time though, there's absolutely nothing I did wrong, right? When the price is at this lowest point here, there's nothing telling me that we're going to reverse here, and that should just take my profit, right? Because it was stalling around here, and I'll go over in the replay, the execution, the video. I'll go over why, or what I was thinking here, and I almost dragged my take profit up to here, which obviously would have made me more money. But if it did just go here and then come down, I would have lost out on. I would end up losing out on about $60 on the 3 micros I was going to scale here. So that's a big loss, really, in the grand scheme, to just being impatient, right? So yeah, we end up losing all of this. So we end up losing 33, so 60, 180, 240. So we end up losing $240, right? But it's just like in live time, right? There's no reason for me to just get cold feet and just expect this to reverse, right? There's no reason. More times than not, this will run through and I'll help my take profit. So it's annoying because we're trying to I'm really trying to get there, right, where I can just be taking winners and winners and winners and just be on a green streak and pass these accounts. But these are days that, this is part of it, man. These are part of the days. So in hindsight, we came back up and we never disrespect this inverse at all. Notice that. It's pretty interesting how we end up pushing into it. If I would have just held my original stop, even above this order block holds, and we actually end up hitting full take profit. So hindsight, again, like I've made that video about taking partials and going to break even, kind of runs the trading. It really kind of does, though, in a sense. Like, this would have been a way bigger trade if I just didn't go to break even. So, I don't know really how I need to learn from that in terms of if I mind going to break even here. I think more often than not, I'm going to get saved. Again, I don't like going to break even just really, really quickly. But when we're this close to take profit, I don't mind going to break even. So then that was the first trade. The second trade was a little bit worse. I do want to kind of journal that. I waited for this 2 minute break and I got in here, took most of my profit here, took one more here and got stopped at break even. The reason why I took it on the inverse here, we still respected this area, and I was just super confident that the Asia low was going to be targeted, and I'm really confident we're going lower. Like, I really think this is the projection for the day, which will be good to build conviction seeing it go down there, but it's annoying not the profit from it, right? So the reason why I don't like this trade, as I'm sure a lot of you guys understand, is that I could have been more patient for the 15 minute, but I was a little bit frustrated with not hitting full take profit here. So I didn't break my rules. I waited for an entry model, I guess, but it was more of just super high conviction that we were at least going to tap this low. And honestly, live time, I almost thought I was going to get stopped out here on this candle, but then I just held through it, and we flushed through. Right, we bounced off the new day opening gap, so that could have been a nice draw on liquidity. Notice how we respect it. We respect it here, right, and then we tear through it. So this trade here is just a little bit forced. It's a little bit greedy, right? My stop loss had to be here, and that was about 23 points, and I was targeting like 13. It was my take profit. If I targeted this new day open gap, then it would have been a 1-to-1. So it was barely a 1-to-1 if I took profits like super optimally. I don't really like this entry. I think this is a little bit of greed taking over, but obviously I had a lot of confidence that was going to work. I just don't need to be taking this, right? And then we end up turtle swooping this high on this order block, right, in this inverse. So that's an entry that I don't really fully, I would never fully look for this because I think I'm just old school. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying old school as if this is like some, I don't really know that ICT concept is something you can consider old school, but I think I'm like an old school, like liquidity sweep and a fair value gap type of guy, like an obvious fair value gap. Which would be here in the 15 minute. Like, I really wanted to see a 15 minute and then this move happen. That to me would have been super A+. But yeah, so now what I'll be looking for. Oh yeah, and something I noticed that happens a lot, and it happened on ES today, so it did not happen on NQ, is, let's just pull up the ES chart. ES here, notice this 30-minute imbalance, right? Notice how we tap this 30-minute fair value gap right here. But notice how we don't tap a 15-minute here. And we don't sweep this high. I've seen that happen quite a few times trading. I don't know how to build like confidence with that idea, but where you'll see the 30-minute open and get tapped and then just run. And the other time frames that you kind of have drawn out for a little bit longer because the 30-minute takes a longer time to print. So I'm not always as diligent looking at the 30-minute. A lot of times we'll just print, tap, and go, right? So we did have an SMT kind of, I guess. Where would that 30-minute have been? It would have been this high, right? And then we just end up going lower. So that's something to note that can happen, right? And that's just kind of why you have to just be a little bit more. It can't always be super textbook, right? Like, we can't always get something picture perfect like this, right? Where you're expecting everything to happen the way you want it to, right? Like, you can't always expect this happening in the area that you draw out. Because the market doesn't care about your fair value gap that you draw out. It just has to move accordingly, right? So this is a beautiful, beautiful trading day. Again, I'm disappointed, and I'll pull up my executions in a second. Disappointed with we only made 200 on the day, which is chill. So the account's back to break even, which is cool. But this and this, we're still down on the week because of a really bad day on Monday, right? We shouldn't have been trading, right? We could have snuck away with plus 400 so far on the week and been chilling. It is what it is, right? These are the days. We had 3 losing days on this account, and they're all massive, right? We've only had 1 massive winning day. We had a lot of small winning days, and we had a 2 small winning day, right? So these are just mistakes. We're back at break even. We go from here, but we could have capitalized a lot more today trading, especially since we were so correct on the reversal here in the 5-minute. But it just, you know what? At the end of the day, it just builds more and more confidence, more and more conviction in the trading, and we just swept out, or we're about to sweep this low, so that'll be another take profit. So again, man, we missed out on a lot of room to the downside. This is about 84 more points and a really quick and effective flush, right? Like if we could have saw this and been here, oh man, I would be really just chilling right now. If, let's just say price, I never move my stop loss and then we run through here. But that's hindsight, right? Who would have known that my stop loss would have been this protected at this high? Again, I can't predict these things perfectly. Maybe with time, maybe with confidence, whatever. But I can't complain over a profitable day, and I definitely don't want to. And that's why I like my account, because I knew I was a little bit upset that I only made 200. And again, 200 is not like nothing, but I'm on an eval. It's not like I'm, you know what I mean? Like I risk around 400 a day per trade / per day if I'm going to take 2 trades. So it's just really not much on the day, and also we're just back to break even. So again, just a lot of frustrating parts of trading, but I did my job today, just like yesterday and the day before. So we've had 3 great days this week, right? Yesterday we stayed disciplined. We didn't see a trade and we didn't take anything, so that was a good day. What happened Tuesday? Tuesday we had a winner, but I'm not sure why it was only 200. But oh yeah, we had a loss and a win. It was a really good trade. So Tuesday we did our job. Wednesday we did our job. Today we did our job. So out of the 5 days this week, right, we already had a good week because we had 3 good days and we could at worst have 2 bad days. So I'll take that as a positive, right? We're not green on the week, but in terms of just discipline throughout the days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday have been a lot better for me than Monday. And we'll go into tomorrow and we'll recognize our tendencies on Friday to be a little bit aggressive and a little bit emotional, right, with our trading. So right now I would wait for this 15-minute to open up. And then I would expect something to happen here to go lower. And I just really love today's model. I really think that this was a very nice signature in price, and I just think a very healthy day to see shorts, right? I was really short bias. On my journal, I said mixed bias. Again, the only reason I was mixed bias is because we have just been ripping straight up. We have a higher draw on liquidity towards 2162. 2162 is up here. That's just like the equal highs. Equal highs from 2 to 3 weeks ago, but we could need to go send price lower to take out liquidity in the market. We'll be patient and wait for price to tell me more. I also like the data lows and some equal lows lower, plus the daily fair value gap. So right here. So I was really expecting to see this, right? I really was wanting to see this. And I really, and going into the morning, I couldn't tell you that that's what I expected until I saw this on the 5-minute, right, or on the higher time frame, or the 5-minute. I saw SMT, I saw displacement through these lows, right, and I saw this fair value gap get respected. So once I see that, it really starts to pick my eye out to for sure this low, and then see prices go lower. So we have this low now, relative equal low. I would like to see the 15-minute open up, but this again, that's why I was so confident that we were going to go lower today, and why. I was going to actually be very confident to leave runners if I could have just, maybe the trade would have just panned out differently. But it is what it is, right? And then in terms of what happens next, I just think that we have to see what happens overnight and then the rest of the day today at this low. Do we displace and break structure lower? If we do, I do think that we could use going back to these lows. And if not, if we sweep and go higher, then we're going to continue the uptrend. So I'll pull up the executions now of the trades and kind of go over and just show you guys the live executions, right? But wow, this is a beautiful, beautiful day. And that's, again, one piece I want to talk to, 2 to 2.5 just got hit. We took out this low, yesterday's low, which, yeah, I believe yesterday's low. Yep, we just took out yesterday's low. But that's why I want to kind of quickly brush on for my own personal journal purposes. I want to brush on the fact that I am having to recognize my emotions and recognize that I am very frustrated, right? Because although I did read price really nice, right, and price did what I expected, right? I'm really frustrated that I only made $200 because it could have been a monster day. It really could have, and I need to learn how to deal with that frustration because it's not healthy for my trading career. It's not healthy for anything like that, right? So I'm not quite sure why I'm so frustrated with a winning day. I think it's just because I left so much on the table. So we place our trade here. We're risking about $240 on this trade to make around. I was on the micro chart, so I don't have any of my annotations. And I was going to sell 3 at that low, right? And then I wonder how much our take profit would have been. That would have been $420. So that's about a 1 to 7 risk reward, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, or somewhere around there. And then I lowered even more, so I was only risking around $220. So that was about a 2 risk reward. We draw out the inverse, right? We're just doing our annotations. And then I wanted to go on the 15-minute or the 5-minute, whatever, and draw out my fair value gap. That's why, again, I was saying that I was fine taking a small stop and then getting a re-entry in that 15-minute because the 15-minute had just opened. And then we start getting a nice reaction. So I put another limit order right underneath at the 1 standard deviation. And we run through the break-even point. I go to break-even. We're up $300. Again, we would have ended the day. If we just closed here, we would end the day better off than with the second trade. But I take one off, I think, a little bit. Hindsight, it worked out for me. But I think this is just a little bit emotional, right? I should, if I wanted to take a profit there, maybe I should just leave a limit order and be fine with it. I don't want to make the decision to take it off, right? So I took one off there, which isn't the worst thing. And then we end up coming down here, and I was like, okay, cool, this is looking great. And at this point, is that the lowest to go? Let's see. So at this point, I'm like, okay, cool, it's gonna hit take profit. We had a little leg up, holding the imbalance, and then we were starting to sell off. Right here, we were up. Let's see, 74. So right here we were up the most we were up on the entire day. We would have been unrealized. Let's see, profit daily target. We were up $353. That would have been a solid day. Would have been very happy with that. But again, when price is here live time, there's absolutely nothing telling me that this is where it's going to reverse, and there's nothing telling me that I should just take out my limit order, right? I think that would have been an emotional decision. This would have been 5 points away, so that would have been 6 times 5. That would have been $30. Again, $30 is not the end of the world. I wouldn't be upset about losing out on $30, but it's just the principle, and there's no reason for price to just reverse here, right? It looks good. So I was going on to I was on the 1 minute. There's really just no reason for price to just reverse here. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's let it play out. I was sitting on the 15-minute, just hoping to see a flush down. And then there, I move it to that low, and I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't do that. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to hold, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to bring it back down to the low, and it never ends up coming down there. And I move my stop loss to that fair value gap here, and we get stopped. So this is very frustrating, right? This is part of why I locked my account, part of the emotions, right? This is very frustrating to deal with, right? 2-3 points away from you take profit. Could have been a really killer day, a really fun day, a really good day to get back, and just getting stopped and break even. Again, obviously we know hindsight. I wouldn't have been stopped with my original stop loss. I'm gonna kind of journal that, keep note of that, and see in the future, like, how often is this gonna happen where when you get really, really close to your take profit and get stopped, right? Because if we did take this low, right, and then we came back up to here, I would be perfectly fine getting stopped on our unders at break even. So there we had, that was our first trade, and then our second trade. Let's see, because I can't remember exactly. I wasn't as good about managing this trade as that first one. I kind of managed this one a little bit more scared, a little bit more whatever the word is. So we wait for this break, and it breaks here, but I was like, okay, I want to wait for the 2 minute because I don't want to jump into anything stupid. So I just end up here, getting in here, right around here. I get in because I saw it kind of moving, and I was like, you know what, okay, I'm going to get in on this. Not a good fill, right? We could have even got a better fill here, or on the 2 minute close, we could have even got better, I think. I'm not sure. So we put our 3 limit order there. It's only like 12 points, so that's just me getting greedy, just wanting to make money after getting stopped at break even. This is a trade I could do without in the long run. This is a trade I could definitely do without. because of all the things I mentioned. It's just a little bit greedy. It's a little bit whatever. And these are the trades I think hold me back in the long run, because there's no reason I should be risking 200. I could have lost 100 on the day for this trade for no real reason. And we end up coming up. And this candle, I'm not going to lie, was kind of scaring me. We ended up holding this 2 minute. I was like, man, we're down 150. I was thinking about just cutting it, taking a small loss on the day. But I was like, you know what? I made a decision. I put risk on the table. Let's let it play out. So I moved my stop to this high. Get kind of worried about it. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to break even if it this low. I'm marking out this low. I'm like, okay, I'm going to break even at this low. Before I can even finish drawing it, we take profit. This was a nice flush. And that puts us up on that trade, right? And it worked out, right? We hit the London low. But again, it's a trade I need to avoid and I need to kind of learn from, even though it did work. And I think we take another profit somewhere. But yeah, obviously if this just flushed down like it had been doing, right, we could have made a lot on those runners right here. Like we could have made about 200 more bucks. But that's just not meant to be. It wasn't meant to be today. Someday we'll hit a monster trade like that, you know. But yeah, so I kind of want to just, I don't know. I just want to recognize my emotions with different things. It's just kind of frustrating to sit here and leave profits on the tables because I have so many bad days and so many days where I lose a lot. So it's just like, you know, wanting to just every day that we can, I want to just kill it, right? I want to kill it every single time. But sometimes I have days like this where I am perfectly right. Wow, dude. Wow. So this would have been a killer trade. Boom, 181 points. See, so that's what I'm saying, man, is that it can just get very frustrating on days where, you know, I need to learn how to deal with this, where I was reading it perfectly. I had my entry borderline perfect, and I just got, you know, and I didn't do anything super bad, right? And we just didn't capitalize on the move that we saw, right? It really messed with me mentally, and I really need to figure out why. I mean, I kind of know why. Obviously, it's like you have an idea, and you're trading to be right, and you're trading to make money, you're trading, you know, whatever. So when you see this stuff play out, right, it's just really sad. Or not sad, but it can be mentally annoying. So that's why I'm glad I locked myself out, so I didn't end up chasing anything. But this is the type of speed I would like to see when I'm in my runners, right? And I just haven't hit a trade like this in a long time. So, again, man, not going to complain. We can always learn from it, right? This is just, it played out perfectly. So what can I complain about, you know? We played out perfectly. So, it's not going to be the last day I ever find a winning trade. It's not going to be the last day that a model plays out perfectly. It is what it is, right? We're perfectly fine, right? We read the market great. So again, I'm not gonna get too upset. And being sick, you know, we're gonna just move on with our day. So now I'm just gonna watch. I just recently started watching the TV show The Sopranos on HBO. I actually do like it. No one spoiled the show for me. Like, I don't know why you would. Don't be that guy. Again, I don't think anyone's planning on doing that, but don't be a weirdo. Let me know if you guys like that show or not, because I actually enjoy watching it. I've been watching it a lot. I was sick yesterday too, like I said in the chart review, and I watched like all day, right? So I'm probably gonna spend the rest of the day watching TV. Hopefully we can recover from this illness, and hopefully we can come in and finish the week strong. At least just make no mistakes on Friday, regardless of win, lose, or whatever. But today was a great day, and I was really excited for today. I really expected great price action today, and we got it. So let me know what you guys took today, what trades you took, what lessons you learned, yada, yada, yada. But I hope you guys had a great day. I will leave you guys there. And I think, hold up, let's check real quick. We are not there yet. I thought we were going to be able to add another quarter. We are at 1,494 subscribers. So we are 6 subscribers away from 1,500. So that would be very, very cool. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. I love every single one of you guys that watch these videos, and have a great day. Peace out.